Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Hello,
to get
everybody.
ourselves a treat.
Welcome back to Cinerama, everyone. We had a few weeks off, but we're back. This week we wanted to review the Ghostbusters movie, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. But in addition, when movies come out, there's a lot of promotion that happens, a lot of items. So we actually have a few items from the movie. I know Ghostbusters has been out for a while, but these theaters, they want to get people back in the theaters, right?
Right. Yeah.
So they've added some
we are
things.
gladly contributing to that.
Yes, we paid too much for this. So Cinemark theaters, we actually have items from both competing theaters. There's Cinemark and then there's AMC. So this came from Cinemark.
Yeah.
This is now an unboxing show. It's not a movie review show, but we have.
What is this?
So this is Slimer popcorn bucket. So Slimer, as you remember from the Ghostbusters has been around forever.
40 years anniversary of the original one.
Of the original, because that came out before even I was born.
Right. Yeah.
Now, do you remember going to see that movie in theater, the original?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like back then Ghostbusters was more comedy and more.
It was
funny.
one of the more of a comedy rather than a
Lighthearted.
thriller. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one thing good about it.
But the new movie is very serious. The ghost is playing a chess with the guy.
Yeah.
That was scary.
More spookier, trying to be more of a horror
Right.
comedy,
But
so.
the 2016 Melissa McCarthy's that one was very comedic, and I think
So that one was an interesting movie, the 2016 reboot, if you will. It was not produced by Ivan. So Ivan Reitman directed the 80s movies, but this 2016 one, he didn't really have as much to do with.
Wasn't a box office success.
There was a lot of online criticism, a lot of Ghostbuster fans like, oh, why are women doing it? Which I didn't understand that. I mean, to me, it's not about.
But Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray, they
supported.
They are in the film a little bit. And
I
but
think
it
even
wasn't a successful
Ernie Hudson,
film.
he also has a cameo.
Yeah, Ramos had passed away. That's why.
That was the other thing. You were doing these movies after Hal Ramos passing,
Right.
so there was a little bit of controversy. Why didn't they address his passing? Why didn't really show memory to him?
Right.
So I think between all of that, so Ivan Reitman's son is this guy named Jason Reitman. He directed the movie for
All in the family. I guess.
after. So they called it the first one was called Afterlife, and they do a good job in that movie paying tribute to Harold Ramis' character.
Yeah. That one is the grandpa. I think that one I saw a little bit.
But then this new one, Frozen Empire, this is about medieval ghosts and scaring people. They actually reference South Asian demons and we've had a lot of movies with demons on this show. But so Slimer gets a little bit of treatment in the new movie, but he's not as funny as there was also the cartoon back in the day where he was a lot more lovable and snacker. So this is a popcorn because he likes food, right? So you can fill it up and
Fill the
popcorn, And then this is kind of from the other first movie. You have the original in the 80s, the Marshmallow Man demon. So now they're making the s'mores. See, so you have the s'more chocolate. It's like it's gonna come.
I guess
I remember Casper the Ghost. That looks
like a ghost, but so it's like, is it a marshmallow ghost or is it but it looks angry. That's the other thing too. If you look at it, it's angry.
But Casper the Ghost was very friendly.
He was friendly. This is not. I don't think that's. Would you, if you were eating and all of a sudden this marshmallow man came after you, you'd be scared.
Now what is that?
So this, these movie theaters are trying to do these customizable popcorn boxes. So a lot of the movies now have popcorn boxes. This is like the ghost catcher and trap, but it's done like a popcorn.
First movie.
Yeah.
So you can serve
the popcorn in here, and then you open the trap, and then the ghost comes in like that. That's the key. This thing like catches so the ghost is in here.
Yeah.
And then they take the ghost and they put that thing in the compressor. So they're holding it. And they do it in a fire department. They use a real fire department, which you can go to in New York. I've stood outside of it. They still have the Ghostbuster logo. Original, I think it's
Which was their office.
Their office, yeah. They rented a fire department. So okay. So you weren't too fan of the new remake. You think it's too darker. But what do you tell the kind of listeners, tell our viewers, tell our audience, what do you remember about going to see the original movies in theaters, and what did you remember about the comedy part of it?
It was very light movie where it wasn't that scary, it wasn't that serious, and the ghosts were not
Friendlier,
like,
you
they
know,
were friendlier
goofier,
ghosts.
They also looked less scary. The design of the ghost, they looked like puppets. Yeah.
And the cast was very comedic.
Yeah.
And the same thing with 2016, all the girls are all from SNL,
Yeah.
They're very
Comedic
comedic
actresses.
actresses, and it was a lot of fun.
My
It
thing,
was
which
good.
I remember best, was that their advertisement, with the song playing, that who you're
Yeah.
going to call.
Who you're gonna call.
Those-
Yeah,
And
that,
plus, I just found out about, I was reading somewhere, and then this was a brainchild of Dan Aykroyd. He wrote
the song.
The original
original script, and he was going to play with John Belushi. But when he passed away,
Yep.
then I think they hired Remus to
Clean up the
script and make it more realistic. His original script was more like in supernatural, and they were going to go to galaxy and more catch and trap pens and all over there.
My
But this
question is, do you think there are ghosts or it's just make believe?
that's the whole thing, whether you believe in ghosts or not.
I mean, I think a little bit.
There are many sightings. So
Many people believe there are spirits out there. I know,
Spirits, right.
in our culture a little bit, we
Yeah.
talk a little bit about spirits and afterlife and all those things. Look, I don't want to discredit anyone who's had a ghost experience. If you've had something, you should be able to own your experience and have your
Right,
experience.
yeah.
I don't necessarily, I've actually done comedy in a haunted mansion, and I didn't feel anything, so-
actually, I have heard that there are ghosts, but only saints can see it. And
That's
I'm
according
glad
to like good
I'm
people.
not a saint,
But also that means we're not.
And then-
Saints
and-
are like more better. So I guess
Yeah.
we're not good people.
They are up there before
Up
Yeah.
there,
God.
they are
yeah.
above,
We're
they
lower.
meditate and
We're
all.
lower
But
peasants.
then my mom said always that the ghosts are there, but they don't harm us anyway.
Yeah.
They are just there around, but they don't bother anyone.
Well, there's also, I think from that movie Ghost, like there is something where they are, spirit is actually looming around trying to find when the body, the next body comes in, to
Yeah.
And they talk a little bit about that in
Yeah,
these,
right,
especially these new two Ghostbuster movies that came out.
There's
they-
a transition.
Transition
period,
period. I
right.
think that's where
That is
spirituality
right,
and religion
yeah.
come, and that's what Dan Aykroyd was really interested in. He was
Interested,
interested in the sort of the paranormal and
Right.
trapped spirits.
Right.
Purgatory. To your point about the script, the original script was 130 pages, which is unheard of because they say a page is a minute. 2-hour movie, no,
Right.
it wouldn't work. But then Harold Ramis came in after, like you said, Belushi died, and Harold Ramis had the idea of make them like exterminators, make them like something
Right,
that go
yeah,
in.
that was his thing.
The
you know,
uniform
and a
thing.
real life thing,
And the
That's why
director
they
also
film-
helped with
That's
that.
why they
Ground it,
obviously in New York,
Yeah.
the most gothic city they talk about for these things.
I think it's good it was set in New
Yeah,
York,
right.
And what's funny about this new Frozen Empire, they come back to New York. The first movie, half in the
Yeah.
countryside, half in. They don't really touch on New York too much, but
Right.
they leave New York to come to the countryside. Whereas
Right.
in this movie, it's set in New York, so you're kind of back in New York. So it's good. I thought the new movie was good in that way. I know you said it was darker, but I think the older
But I think
movies.
which mom is talking about, that is not the Frozen Empire, the Afterlife or something.
Yeah.
The kids
She found it very
right.
yeah.
That one we started seeing,
Yeah.
I mean,
So
the
that
ghost
should be-
is playing the chess
that's-
with the guy. And
Yeah, that's like a yeah.
That's it. I think that's her grandfather who's teaching.
That's
her.
Harold Ramis who's doing
Yes,
it.
right,
Or
yeah.
Egon, well, his character's name is Egon Spengler.
Egon,
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But you're right. The '80s movies were more lighthearted. Actually, Slimer.
It was comedy first
More
and
comedy.
then scary.
Hard, yeah.
Right.
This character, the Slimer character, apparently this was the basis of Belushi. They wanted this guy to be more like Belushi. That's why he eats and he belches
Right,
and
yeah.
does all that. So they said he was a tribute to that,
Yeah.
And then obviously the '80s were more lighthearted. I think that movie represented the tone of that time.
Right.
more lighthearted, more party. I mean, they had a Ghostbuster. You know, it was more for kids, more geared towards
Correct,
kids.
for
These
the
first
family
movies.
related,
The
right?
ghost looked nicer. Then there was the
The
toy
music was good.
music. Who are you gonna call? Like you
Yeah,
mentioned,
right,
there was the cartoon also, the Ghostbuster cartoon, the Ghostbuster
Yeah, that
costumes.
played, I think, for about 3 or 4. It was a series, TV series.
TV
yeah.
series, but then the cars, the toys, you know.
Right,
So
yeah.
I think what's good is they have these things for the kids, kind of to get the kids back into it. Although I'm not a kid.
That was a good thing. I didn't know that they made it for in the theaters for popcorn.
Yeah, this thing
You
has
know,
the popcorn.
So right, you can really buy it and get your popcorn and eat it.
The
while
person
you're
was like,
watching.
the person was like, you don't want the popcorn. Like, I don't want to get it dirty or anything. So I just did it without. But yeah, you this thing is for the popcorn. We're almost doing an unboxing video, kind of. Yeah.
It's kind
You're
of
giving
nice,
kudos
you know,
to
if you're
cinema.
watching a film.
Both.
AMC, yeah.
Yeah,
This one
AMC.
has the logo on it.
Yeah.
It's nice, yeah.
Yeah, those are nice things to have around when you're watching a film.
Film. And just it's nice to have some memorabilia. You
Yeah.
know, we like movies here, so it's good to kind of have the
I mean, that is
Representation,
the
yeah.
kind of a personality, you know, they have
That's a
Ben
good you mentioned,
Aykroyd
and John
and
Belushi's.
Bill Murray. They are kind of, you know, it sort of brings their
I think the first
personality
one, Bill
into
Murray,
these
was more with coming up with new one-liners and all. You know, as far as I remember.
Yeah, he was very improvisational. You know, look, they were the focus of the first two
Yeah.
movies. Then you
I
had
saw him at Bulls game. He was just went by and he said hello. And
no picture or anything, right?
No, back then I never used to bother.
Too
you
shy.
know.
Yeah. What did you just say hello and he?
Yeah, he said hello and he made these funny faces and he laughed. But
I mean, and a lot of people may not know. You know, it's gonna be weird now. There's a whole generation of kids who don't know who Bill Murray is. You know, but
Yeah, right.
you know, he was like and he's been known to like, you know, he's crashed people's weddings. He's been hanging out at parties, but he's also a big Chicago sports fan.
Cool
You know,
sports.
yeah.
I'm sure you saw him at Second City sometime.
I've definitely seen him walking around, you know, but he's kind of doing his thing. He goes to Cubs game. He famously just went to the Cubs game
right,
and
yeah.
went on the train. That was the big thing he does, you know. He likes to be around people. He's not for a Hollywood guy. He doesn't
Yeah,
like to
down
be
to earth,
yeah, very
And
down
Ben
to earth.
Aykroyd we saw at the
Yeah,
that
Blues
show.
Brothers.
Blue
So
Brothers Revival or
show.
something. 25th anniversary.
20, so all these movies are having their anniversary. All these movies are getting reboots, remakes. So they did a thing revival for the Blues Brothers at the Cook County Jail. I thought that was
No, Joliet Prison.
Joliet Prison. Yeah,
Yeah.
those tickets weren't cheap if you remember.
There
But
was
then they
music.
had and I'll put that in the video. They had the car from Ghostbusters,
Yes,
and
they-
they had both
that's what I
cars.
was
They had
going to say.
they had the Blues Brothers police car and they had the
also
Ghostbuster car. So we
car,
have
yeah.
some footage of that. We'll put that
And
in
good
the
music.
video.
They
And
had
a lot of that
nice
day when
concert.
we were there, kids were really trying to take pictures. You know, younger kids,
Yeah.
older kids, everybody was.
Yeah, we
Because
all.
It was
of
a
the
good
Ghostbusters,
generational
right.
thing. You
Yeah.
saw people from all
Right.
good, and the reason I wanted to go, I could have gone with other friends, but I wanted to go specifically with you because I remember watching Ghostbuster and Blues Brothers at home.
Oh.
You put it on, and you didn't say go do something
Right,
else, go do
yeah.
homework. You said
In fact,
Sit
Shivani
and
used to also watch with me. You know, and a couple of times when it comes, she watches.
She would
But
watch.
then the remake was I think 2000 or something. That was.
they're the 2000, yeah.
Yeah, that was okay.
It was a good arrangement too.
Yeah.
We parked far away, then they
Shuttled,
us,
not too much walking.
walking, and then
We made it through most of the. I'm
Yeah.
very
And
impressed.
they gave us a tour.
Tour of
couple
the
cells.
cell,
and
yeah.
all, you know.
Yeah, and they had a lot of memorabilia.
Memorabilia.
Yeah.
Apparently, some of the tours and all I found out later, like they weren't doing all. Like remember how it was a 2-day event,
Yeah.
but all the main stuff was the first day.
Well,
They weren't going to do concert or anything the second.
Yeah, then the concert was the final day which day
We went, yeah. But that was good. Just to be able to see them, you know, at some point, you know, these people aren't going to be around anymore. So it's good to
Right.
be able to see this stuff, enjoy these memories. While we have-
I guess Jim Belushi got his
Jim
because
Belushi
of
got
John
it.
Belushi.
There's that comedian Andy Kindler who said who died and made Jim Belushi famous. It's John Belushi who said that.
Yeah.
But just okay. So final thoughts about just the Ghostbuster franchise. I think sometimes, you know, everybody's kind of saying, oh, too many remakes, too many reboots. They're just doing money cash grab. But to me, when you have when you have a new Ghostbuster movie come out, then the old people get interested in the old movies. They get interested in the cartoon. These memorabilia comes out that people want to. So I've seen on eBay, like, so this is going for a certain price, But then the old toy car that comes on, so people get excited for the original. Then they want original. So to me, this is all maybe
it's a business.
It's a business. So do you guys? I personally think sometimes remakes and reboots they help ignite more interest in the franchise, and then people go back and watch the old movies.
That's
I
always
think
there. I mean, sometimes
everybody watches the first movie. Then if the
they get
second
partial.
one comes, yeah. So basically, that is what it is. It's a business.
always to come up with sequel and all is
Difficult.
if you hit it the sequel as good as the original, then you made it good. You know.
Now there's five Ghostbuster movies. This is a 5-movie franchise now. How many?
It's a new sponsor of Cinerama with Papa and Mama. It's the grease-free ghost trap popcorn eater. Yeah, it's not a ghost trap. It just looks like one, but it traps all the grease, and your hands are free. You need the grease trap popcorn tin. Yes. I know it may look like a ghost trap. It's not a ghost trap. Now enjoy the rest of the episode.
The 2016 remake with all-female cast, there was some people weren't a fan of the movie, but the movie itself, take away the fan controversy, take away the angry keyboard warriors just saying, oh, why are women taking over franchise? The movie itself, I remember that movie. I thought it had different tone, but what do you think of the movie itself? You guys remember?
It was a really good movie.
Yeah.
Very
I think
comedically
she did a lot
we
more.
laughed a lot.
So it struck the right comedy balance,
Yeah.
as opposed to the newer movies.
Yeah.
You think?
And plus, at that time, they were more popular because of the SNL. They were in
Correct.
SNL, so
And
that
they
just
worked
gave them a
really
boost.
well
you know,
together. All
yeah.
these girls were really, they worked
Was
together.
it the
very
third
well.
one was Kristen Wiig?
So they had 3 from SNL. They had your Melissa. You had Melissa McCarthy, who's not SNL.
Yeah.
But then you had Kristen Wiig, you had Kate McKinnon, and then you had Leslie Jones. Kind of.
Oh, so the 3 + 4 of them.
4. They had the 14.
The 3 SNL alums. And
And then you had this guy Paul Feig, who he directed the Bridesmaids movie.
Right.
So they had worked.
Okay.
Melissa and Kristen had worked in that. So
Right.
yeah, it was very. And I
It was a
believe
good movie.
some of the other people, SNL people, did smaller roles.
Roles.
The guy who plays Thor, Chris Hemsworth, he was like the possessed person in that
Yes,
movie.
yeah.
It was very interesting, yeah. But I remember definitely a different type of movie. Darker.
Yeah.
It lost, they lost 70 million.
You know the exact
Yeah,
amount.
Yeah, it wasn't high grossing, you know.
Yeah.
The first one I was surprised because I think
First one must have done globally a lot.
yeah, globally, and plus it was also I know in the 80s and now all these special
Yeah,
effects
yeah.
have changed, but
Different.
whatever it was still pretty good. They had in a horror movie, comedy/horror movie, they did pretty good. Spent some at least to get some special effects and all.
I think
you know.
it's a kind of a hard job to do comedy and the horror together. You know?
Yeah, you're striking that balance. It can be very difficult to do horror comedy.
Yeah,
you
the
know,
blend perfect.
because
blending of it.
sometimes then people think, some horror people are like, it's too funny. You're not taking the horror seriously.
Yeah.
Then comedy people are like, it's too scary. You know,
So you're going to turn one crowd or the other, you know,
Yeah,
the horror
I
spooks
got
in there,
turned off because it was
and
not
then you
comedy.
Yeah.
the other way around, and that was more of
you
a
can't please
blend,
everybody.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that was more of a.
So final
perfect
thoughts
blend.
on Ghostbuster as a franchise? Do you would probably prefer more of the comedy side of Ghostbuster?
No, either it has to be comedy. See now, Dracula.
Yeah.
Those I understand.
Those are more
they're
campy, yeah.
They are horror films.
But more
so-
over the top also.
Yeah.
You know.
But then this is.
I
I
would.
think it was a good blend in
Yeah.
first two movies, but in
This
one-
guy was not in the he shows up in the new
He's in
movie.
the
He's in Frozen Empire, but he is not in Afterlife. So
Yeah.
maybe if this guy came back, because he doesn't look scary, right? Too much, not scary.
I wouldn't eat.
I think I'll just add to
You would not say that.
I'm not going to eat popcorn from.
You wouldn't trust his popcorn. You're not afraid of no ghost, but you're afraid of the popcorn.
I don't
This-
mind the other one though. That's
This is
okay.
the
But
fluffy. This isn't even a ghost. This
No,
is
I
a,
No,
think
but
the
the
other
popcorn from there, but
you
that
would trust
one,
the popcorn.
you would trust that one is traps ghost.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
there's gonna be more ghosts in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This isn't
That is
bad,
a
right?
entrapment,
Too
so.
friendly or no?
It's angry.
Yeah, he's too angry in your mind. There's another plush doll with this, but has a happier face in that one.
Oh, that's better.
But then the original Stave, so this is the Stave Puft Marshmallow Man. The reason this exists as a ghost is because of Dan Aykroyd. You have to blame him because he was obsessed with the marshmallow and he liked this idea of taking a cartoon mascot and making it possessed by a ghost. So if you think this is scary, you have to blame him. And this is just John Belushi's.
I think he's
memory.
not scary.
What did
He's
they
just, I
think
think he
about
looks
the
more
new film?
angry.
The
Bill
Legends.
Murray.
So they're, if you notice, they're in they've shown up in all the movies.
So they supported, but
So because I
was
think
it
because
a
it's
box office hit?
the new movie is doing okay. It's doing better overseas. Again, people just aren't going too much to theater. But I think when the video on demand, because the other movie, the Afterlife movie, did very well on demand as well, and overseas that one did well. So
And the
that's a
Afterlife one is the
tribute to Hal
Grandkids,
Raines.
yeah,
The
yeah,
grandkids show up.
yeah.
So that's the other thing. It's like a new cast now. You have some new actors. One of them was in the Stranger Things show, which that's a very popular show on Netflix about like kids discovering kind of horror.
But I think
danger.
whatever I saw about half of it, and I think Dan Aykroyd was there for a cameo appearance. In
They
this.
all three show
All
up in
three?
yeah.
No, two, right?
No, all of even Ernie Hudson who plays Winston, he shows up. In,
Oh, okay, no, but not
They
the
support
grandfather
the
because
film,
that is
that's why
Yeah,
basically.
they show up.
but he also comes in a. I don't want to. He appears.
Okay.
I don't want to give away endings to movie from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But even in the new movie, I don't think this is a spoiler because these guys have been doing promotion. The Bill Murray and all are showing up in these
Yeah.
things. Yeah, they do show up in some capacity for the new movie. For the new movie, they show up, but it's kind of disconnected how Bill Murray shows up. I think it'd been better if they just show up as a group, instead of individually. It kind of feels disconnected how they individually show up. So that was my one
available
critique.
together because
They-
they're busy.
That's the who are you gonna call separately?
Separately.
So that little bit I didn't like in the new movie. They do reference some South Asian demons that were interesting, but yeah,
Different twist, I
different
think.
twist. But it can be very, there's definitely frightening imagery. Jump scares, which is the new kind of suspense,
Yeah.
more suspenseful, trying to make it more dramatic. You're in
And
a theater.
obviously
you're in
music
dark
blasts
state.
it,
They do use the old music at some. They actually do a good job. The second movie in particular does a good job because it's set in New York. They do a good job showing the old stuff from the New York era of Ghostbusters. So to me, I'm glad that the franchise. I've always been a fan of the movies. I'm glad that they're back in some capacity, and I'm glad we get to hold on to. Well, we're gonna sell most of these, but it's nice to have some memories with the old Ghostbusters. So, any other thoughts on Ghostbuster? If you see a Ghostbuster, someone who's like not interested in Ghostbuster, how would you convince them to see the Ghostbuster movie?
It's a comedy, and I mean, not the new one, but the concept is. I mean, it's taking away the seriousness of the ghost, which is kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
And then it's not like those exorcists and or other.
Yeah, it's no Exorcist. That's probably to me, that's the best way to sell it. Oh, you're not sure about Ghostbusters? It's no Exorcist. It's its own thing.
It's a very sort of a easy way they have put the ghost in the system.
More managing. Yeah.
Managing, like they are not scary. So the kids, it's a good thing for kids. They think
It's for the kids.
same way the Casper the Friendly Ghost was invented.
Yeah.
So the kids don't get scared with the ghost. And they said, okay, he's a friendly ghost, So the ghost concept was really mellowed down.
Yeah.
That's what these movies are doing. But I didn't see the new one that well because I was scared.
Yeah.
So,
So you didn't get a chance, but you enjoy the legacy and the.
Yeah.
What about you? Any thoughts?
My only thought that
Would you rather be more like Exorcist?
no. I would just add that if they are not seen any ghost movie,
Yeah.
Buster movie, they should first see the original one, and then I think they'd be
Go in
to
order.
say, yeah.
You're a big believer in going
Right,
order. Yeah. That's the thing with some of these generations. They want to see the new one, then go back, but you have to go in order.
Then you can't relate to some of the characters if they're bringing them.
I
back,
think you have to go in order because you get more
Yeah.
inside jokes.
Jokes.
If you see, then you will appreciate that reference to that. There's a couple things in this new one. There are references to the original. You have to see the original to understand.
I think
Certain
that
characters
is,
also are referenced in a way that
That is true for any sequel
Yeah.
movies, that you should be aware
Watch in
of
order.
Yeah, same way with Star
Prequel
Wars,
might be
you know.
different.
Prequel
but
might be
like
different.
Star Wars, you know, they show Darth Vader. But
Yeah,
they
some
don't-
people. There are some people that tried to watch that.
Right. So.
You know what you should watch in order? This show. You have to watch every episode.
Yeah.
We have jokes in the first episode that are caught up now, so you have to watch in order.
Hey there, are you a beekeeper in training? Are you someone who may have to get revenge on somebody who got scammed? How are you going to fuel your efforts? You need honey. Straight from bees. It's the lifeblood of beekeepers. It's honey. A new sponsor of Cinerama with Papa and Mama. Come get some today.
Released. We've been trying to watch different movies, so we don't have any. Unfortunately, the Beekeeper didn't have any swag like this. You would have thought maybe they would have like honey or something.
Unless we can go out in the yard and
We'll go out
bees.
You can go get the bees. I'm not. I know one time we had a hornet's nest out there. And you were
We have
still hornets.
Yeah, we
Oh,
have.
that's so that. Okay, so we have a hornet's nest. You can go get that. That'll promote Beekeeper. But yeah, the other movie we wanted to talk about was the Beekeeper, starring of all people Jason Statham. Different movie than Ghostbusters, more of an action movie.
Not more of the
Yeah.
action.
I know, Dad, you watch a lot of the Fast Furious movies, the Transporter movies, Jason Statham movies. So
In this one, Beekeeper, I would just say that it's Bourne, John Wick, and Equalizer all combined in one. You know,
In
same
one.
like
a guy
that's
who's
the
coming
description.
back from his past.
Right, and the way they have these the karate scenes and all martial arts
Martial
plays a
arts,
lot,
yeah.
which Jason is I think
An expert,
an expert. So yeah,
I
and
used
he's
to watch
getting
one of
better and
his
better.
shows on
You know,
TV.
it is
There was-
stunts. You know, those are
You like the stunts of
right,
it, yeah. Now, so for you, we've been doing quite a few action movies on this show, and a lot of people might say, "Oh, Mom, Nick, and Mom Sheila would probably not enjoy as much action," but I think you should tell our viewers that you do enjoy it. I think it's a
I
stereotype.
did like
yeah.
this film
Yeah.
Beekeeper. I
Did
liked
you like the drama side of it too?
Yeah, I mean totally the concept of cheating and this type of
getting the bad guys, especially with
Yeah.
going after the older people.
Yeah, this
that's
is
the
a
thing.
scale.
Yeah, without giving away too much, I'll say that so Felicia Rashad, who was famously
Right.
Bill Cosby's wife.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to go into that. People aren't afraid of ghosts, but they are afraid of Bill Cosby. I'll say that. But Felicia Rashad plays a neighbor of Jason Statham's character, and she gets scammed by these,
And then
fishing groups.
So we cannot tell much about the.
We can say that she gets wronged and he gets revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm
But
still
like this is a good movie to educate people,
people.
not to trust
Trust
any
phone.
kind of phone calls
And
things
not
like
just
that.
scam, basically to get scammed out of your
Full
complete
bank account,
savings.
yeah.
And,
And
how-
the
charitable. That was the big
she
thing.
opened
Yeah.
that was
No, we can
big.
talk
and
about that a little
the
bit.
way she reacts to that is kind of also something to think about, that there is always a solution to a problem, so never go to that extent.
We always we've had obstacles in our lives, and sometimes we get frustrated, but we have to
but there are more good people in this world than bad
than
people.
bad people. Yeah.
And there were more kind people who would help you if you are in trouble.
That's why you can't lose your cool.
Yeah,
You can't
don't
lose
hurt
the
yourself.
kindness. Yeah.
Don't,
But sometimes at
Things
that
like that.
moment, when she sees that everything is gone, and especially I think she got more into it because it was the charity money. So
Yeah.
that's gave her she was really hurt because
By
of
that,
that,
yeah. And
Life
then Jason
savings
is a
okay,
guy who,
yeah.
it's not like he was related to her, they became
No,
friends.
she was
Very
taking good
kind
care
to
of him,
him,
and he
yeah.
was also he was actually renting
From
her
her.
farmhouse,
So he could
and
do his
raising
thing.
beekeepers.
Yeah.
and he
So,
does say that no one ever took care of me like
The way
did.
she did,
And
yeah.
she had invited him for dinner also.
There were multiple
Yeah.
times, yeah. So
So
he
basically
cared for her.
Right.
Some people aren't related by blood, but they are close to each other.
and especially when you're like a secret operative where you don't have any identity, nothing, So
He
then-
didn't have anybody because he kind of.
But,
he didn't have any fingerprints.
That
so
was
he
the thing. He
unknown.
he had been like an
That's right.
operative, which is a lot of these movies.
Movies
He's done
are coming up with
like
this
these.
one.
Oh, I used to be a guy and then I went away. There's another movie, The Baker, where this guy was a CIA guy, but then he bakes. now.
Bakes, yeah.
So and then you use your new identity to kind of. So this guy.
I don't want to give
No.
too much,
I will talk about the one scene where he takes the gasoline into the
Yeah.
to the what
Yeah,
did you,
actually-
was that too intense for you?
No, actually, the people who do the scams like that,
Yeah,
they have such big network. I mean, it may be true.
yeah,
Their research might have shown that.
that they do.
And then that's the only way he could take care of them, But we don't want to give out the
Too much.
That gasoline scene, I also liked it.
The
Like,
gasoline scene we can talk about a little bit.
Yeah,
Did you
because-
like it or was it too intense?
It was fine. I mean,
because the way he
that's
goes and not like putting on mask or disguises and
No,
trying
he
to
just
go
goes in.
tonight. He just goes
Straight
in,
up goes in.
straight up,
And he
And
starts
he wants,
kicking security
and he wants people that hey, clear out the building.
because he tried.
That's it.
He knew that the law agency is.
They were not doing much
They were
because
not.
They're not going to complain because they're,
Yeah.
I do want to touch a little bit on one of the villains. I won't say who all the villains are, but
Yeah.
one of the villains is this
Jeremy
distinguished actor Jeremy. For those who don't know,
Jeremy
Jeremy
Irons.
Irons is in the movie. Yeah, he's he doesn't just pick any old movie.
But
to
Jeremy
do.
Irons, I think he was one of the Bruce Willis.
Yeah, he's in one of the Die Hard.
Die Hard.
He plays
I think
the Hans Gruber's
Hans
brother in the
Gruber's
third movie.
Brother,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
So he's done different
he did
action
different,
movies
right.
before, but it is interesting how these British character actors then they become villains in other
It
movies.
depends when
They
you get
want
old.
job.
They want
need
job,
money. So
Yeah, I think if I ever get a role, it'll be more on the villain side than leading man. But
Yeah.
we'll see. But did you find the movie? I found a couple moments to be funny. Also, there's
Actually,
darkly comic material in the movie.
He also gives those one-liners like how
One-liners.
Clint Eastwood started, make
Yeah.
my day, all those
Yeah.
things. So I think now they are learning to give one, throw in some comedy.
throw in some comedy. What did you think?
Actually, there is a big similarity to beekeepers are very organized
Yeah.
people. I mean, to get the honey is a very organized process, and so this guy was very disciplined man. That's why he had that kind of strength or stamina to do all that, and also the bee is very essential to cultivation and the farming, and the civilization depends on them. So there is some kind of a symbolism there.
That is going in deep,
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
have to
That
go with
how
that,
he destroys the evil thing.
Going
Because-
into
because that will be harmful to the civilization.
civilization, and it's also like the things he's doing are kind of not technically legal. The way he goes
Yeah.
about fighting,
Yeah, that
It's very,
no one
it's
should do
questionable,
that,
yeah.
But there was no other way out.
So there's a lot of morality play in this movie.
Right.
But that's
What
mostly
is
not
right,
action
what
movie
is
where,
wrong, type
then
of
Yeah.
thing,
they go after the villain and then they
But
start
it's
from the
really
bottom.
sad that senior people are,
Getting
wronged
taken
like
advantage of.
that,
And then this happens every day. That's not
This
in the
is,
movie,
Yeah.
this is.
And
I know
then-
sometimes you've had things happen where like you get a call saying something about IRS and it's a fake call and they scare you.
Yeah, I mean that a lot of time we get
Email
my
is and all
email
this.
was
Yeah.
just-
and all
I
that.
don't
So
tell
then
mom.
I'm like,
I just
really-
always tell mom, don't even open whether
Yeah.
it is realistic. We'll worry about it later because none of these government agencies
Are gonna
will
email.
ever email.
Yeah, you're never gonna get an email
Call
like that.
or a phone call
email.
or yeah.
Yeah,
That's the main thing.
it says on the IRS website specifically,
Yeah,
we don't
especially-
phone or
Yeah.
And it's funny, even like your bank also will say
Also
we will
say
never
we
text
never-
or email like this.
Right, yeah.
They only say
They only notify by
they
text.
notify, but they will
never email
yeah.
that what is your secret
Password,
password
yeah. Or they check this
send
thing for account.
or check send money to us, wire money to us and all.
Like
They
even
don't
it
do
was
that.
like I logged into my Chase account just today. They did text me, but they said we will never ask you for your account
Correct.
information.
I think this is more and more they are showing out to so that people don't get scammed,
And then
So
I
think-
know we all get annoyed when why do they ask for this password, this code? But I think you
Yeah.
need more protection. We can't get mad at all that stuff.
right.
Now the new thing with IRS is they go by all your ID,
Facial skin, which is
facial
good
skin.
because
Yeah,
something
that's
can
good, yeah.
So I think sometimes these movies they can be a little over the top, but you need scenes like that because it gets people talking about
Right,
you know, I can see
or at least warn your
relatives,
friends and all, or
those who are maybe living alone,
right.
and all. You know, it's just good
Alone,
you guys
right,
are not alone. You're here and all, but if some people keep their grandparents or something alone and all.
I mean, that's what it is. The senior citizens are not that computer savvy, and they're not
thinking about the worst
Yeah.
outcome, you know.
And
so we have to be careful.
all the banking people do online and all that is there. So this movie is a good educating.
Educating by fists, using martial arts and gasoline to educate people. But
No,
you have to do that.
That was a wrong thing he did,
Yeah.
but what?
But,
No, but that's the best way to teach a lesson, you know.
You need something fun. Make it.
Yeah.
If it's just a TED talk on scams,
Yeah.
that wouldn't sell the movie. But yeah, final thoughts on Beekeeper. I know it's been out for a while. It's probably on demand now, but we just still want to cover it because it is, you know, it is an interesting movie. Such a unique movie. I mean, Jason Statham just using bees.
Great performance by him.
Yeah.
But he's become
he
quite a
used
bit.
all his martial arts. I think he's a 8-degree black belt or
Yeah,
something
different
like
styles,
that. Yeah.
jiu-jitsu and all.
So,
Yeah. So you've seen some action movies now. You're getting into it. You don't mind too much of the action, but for you've seen a lot of Jason Statham movies.
Yeah.
So where do you rank the on the different Statham movies? Where do you rank this? You know,
Well, I thought Transporters was
probably
also
is
good.
better, and he was certainly different.
He was just coming up, and he really did.
So you had to prove himself.
Yeah, and then I saw his Mechanic, the old Charles Bronson remake.
That was a remake of
So
it.
he made, I think, two or three.
But how do you think? Like, I don't think he's lost his touch.
No, he's not. In fact, right now he's with that new, and I want to see that Expendable Force.
There's the Expendable
That
Force.
is a cast of from
But that's the whole
yesteryears.
cast, yeah.
That's a cast from yesteryears, you know.
That's a reboot cast also.
Sylvester Stallone is still.
He's still going. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
the leader, plus Jason is his sidekick, so he's the second.
And I know Arnold has a series out too on Netflix.
Oh,
so
yeah.
all these sort of 80s action stars are.
he had a TV show,
Yeah.
Jason. I mean,
Statham.
Yeah.
He had a reboot of a show also. Yeah.
I used to watch at night, late night. This is like in 90s or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I
I
know
haven't
him.
seen that, Jason
Yeah.
Statham's movie.
Yeah, we'll have to. But I mean, this is a movie show. We can't talk about.
Yeah,
TV.
no, I'm just saying.
Off camera, we can talk about that. So yeah, so we went from like Ghostbusters to Beekeeper, but
All
it doesn't
the
matter.
Stars, 80s stars.
80 stars, whether reboot or a remake, there's so many great movies out there, guys, whether on demand or streaming. I believe Beekeeper is something you can watch on the cable channels, and then Ghostbusters Afterlife and the old Ghostbusters you can find on streaming, and then Frozen Empire is still in theaters, but we encourage you to check out all these movies. If you have a movie for us, if you think we're not reviewing enough of the old stuff, we do want to do more episodes with older stuff. Email Cinerama, mamapapa@gmail.com if you want us to review a movie, or if you have a request for a movie. We're gonna be doing a Patreon soon where people will subscribe to us for a few dollars a month, and one of the prizes if you do subscribe to us is that Nick and Sheila are gonna give you a message. So that's also an option. So email us if you have advice, if you want them to give you advice. Personal message. I'm sure you will have time for that a little bit. But
We'll find time for that.
We'll find time for that.
And we have a lot of advices since we have lived quite a long
life. Maybe don't ask about beehives or hornet nest removal. We haven't done that yet properly. I think we might need Jason Statham to come remove that hornet's nest out of it. But yeah, this has been our episode, everyone. We talked about Ghostbusters. We'll actually, if you watch the video version of this, we will have some footage from the Blues Brothers Festival. I'll put the Ghostbuster car, at least some of that footage available. And at
We
Pratik
should
Comedy
invite Bill Murray to
on
our
the show.
Yeah.
You were the one who met him. I didn't even meet him. So how could we?
I'll see if we do something.
All right, so Bill Murray is coming on the show. That's the big
He
announcement.
lives in Chicago.
He does live in Chicago. I don't know where. I know he had that golf restaurant, which you know how much a dinner is at that restaurant? $94 for one like little sandwich from the
I'll make
Murray
a
Brothers.
really nice dinner for him.
Well,
Come.
you hear Bill Murray. You heard it here first. Bill Murray coming. We won't pay you. You'll get a free meal. How about that? But that's been our episode, everybody. All right, say bye to everybody.
Bye.
We will be back next week.
Sure.
We had a week off, but we'll be back now every week for the rest of the week.
Let's all go to the lobby.